Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hello Friday. Today, we're going to be talking about Yahusha is the full armor of Yah. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you can be notified when new videos are posted, and also clicking that like button. All right, guys, so let's jump into today's topic, Yahusha, the full armor of Yah. All right, family. So let's go ahead and begin by reading Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18. And it reads, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohim that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Elohim, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the Basora of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Elohim, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Ruach, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all Kodeshim. All right, family. So today we're going to talk about Yahusha is the full armor of Yah. When we take a look at Romans chapter 13, verse 12, it states, "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light." Here we see that the works of darkness is everywhere, and people are walking according to their flesh. When it states the day is at hand, what day is Paul really speaking of? Well, if we look at Ephesians chapter 6, verse 13, it states the evil day. And what is the armor of light that we should put it on? Right? So if we take a look at Psalms chapter 119, verse 105, it states, "Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." And so the word of Yah is the light, and Yahusha is the word of Yah manifest in the flesh. Now, going back to Romans chapter 13, I want us to take a look at verses 13 and 14. And it reads, "So let's walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering or wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Adonai Yahusha HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill its lusts." We shouldn't allow our flesh to bring to pass the desires, the cravings, or the longing for what is forbidden. When we take a look at Ephesians chapter 5, verses 11 through 13, it states, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them or expose them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are approved, all things that are exposed, all things that are corrected or refuted are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever does make manifest is light." Now, when we continue on in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 14 through 17, it states, "Wherefore he says, Awake, you that sleep, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give you light." That is, Mashiach shall give you understanding. "See then that you walk circumspectly, or see then that you walk diligently, exactly, accurately, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time," making wise, right? Redeeming the time, making wise and sacred use of every opportunity to do good, because the days are evil, right? That is to say, the days are full of labors, annoyances, hardships, toils, perils, of a bad nature or condition, evil, wicked, and bad, right? These are the days that we are in, evil day, right? These are the evil days. Wherefore, be you not unwise, but understanding, having on the armor of light, right? So, what the will of Yah is. So, the will of Yah is that we would have understanding, and that understanding is our armor of light. All right, so when we take a look at Ephesians chapter 5, verse 8, it states, "For you were in time past darkness, but now are you light in Yahuwah. Walk as children of light." Right? And so here it's talking about you were in time past darkness. You were walking in time past, you were walking according to the flesh. But now are you light in Yahuwah. Now you're walking according to the word of Yah, which is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. When we take a look at 2nd Baruch chapter 18, verses 1 and 2, it states, "And I answered and said, He that lighted, right, taken from the light, and there are but few that have imitated him," right? And said, so it says, and I answered and said, He that lighted, that's you and I, right? We were lightened, right? We received light, has taken from the light, which is the word of Yah. So we were enlightened because we've taken from the word of Yah. And there are few that have imitated him. Him who? Who are we talking about? Yahusha HaMashiach, right? The word of Yah. Yahusha HaMashiach is the word of Yah. And so he that have received the light, which is you and I, have taken from the light, which is the word of Yah, and there are but few that have imitated him. Who is him? Him is Yahusha HaMashiach, who is the word of Yah. But those many whom he has lightened, right? Those many whom Yahusha HaMashiach, the word of Yah, has lightened, which is you and I, have taken from the darkness of Adam and have not rejoiced in the light of the lamp, which is the word of Yah. When we look at 2nd Baruch chapter 19, verse 3, it states, "But after his death," whose death? Who are we talking about? Moses. We're talking about Moses here. So after the death of Moses, they sinned. Who is they? They is Yashar'el, right? So after the death of Moses, Yashar'el sinned and transgressed, though they knew that they had the Torah reproving them, right? That is to say, Yashar'el had the Torah to correct them, to convict them, to expose them. So, what are the works of darkness that Yashar'el may have found themselves partaking in, right? Here we see, we take a look at Ephesians chapter 5, verse 3 through 5, and also Galatians chapter 5, 19 through 21. And it gives a list of things that are the works of darkness, right? And a few of them are fornication, covetousness, foolish talking, idolatry, disobedience, right? Witchcraft, heresies, envying, drunkenness, revelings, right? And such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim or Mashiach. And so when we take a look at 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 2, 1 and 2, it states, "Know this also, that in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, traitors, heady, high-minded, right? Having a form of holiness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away." And so, family, when we live our lives according to the word of Yah, and the fruit of the Ruach in all goodness and righteousness and truth. According to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 9, we are a light in Yahuwah. So let us speak the truth in love, learn Mashiach, hear him, be taught by him, understanding that the truth is in Yahusha. Let's take a look at Ephesians chapter 5 again. If we go to verse 9, it states, "For the fruit of the Ruach is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto Yah, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them, but rather correct them, convict them, expose them." Verse 14 states, "Wherefore he says, Awake you that sleep, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give you light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of Yah is." Galatians chapter 5, verse 16 through 18 states, "This I say then, walk in the Ruach, and you will not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Ruach, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if you be led of the Ruach, you are not under the law." Why is this, family? Because the law was made for the wicked and disobedient. First Timothy chapter 1, verse 9 and 10, it states, "Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the wicked and disobedient, for the unholy, and for sinners, for them without Yahuwah and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons. And if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine, according to the glorious Besorah, which is according to the good news or the gospel of the blessed Elohim, which was committed to my trust." Now let's take a look at what the fruit of the Ruach is, right? When we take a look at Galatians chapter 5 and we go to verse 22, it states, "But the fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law put in place. And they that are Yahusha HaMashiach have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Ruach, let us also walk in the Ruach." All right, family. So let's go ahead and take a look at 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. And it states, "Therefore, endure hardness, that is, endure perilous times, as a good soldier of Yahusha HaMashiach. No man that wars entangles himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier." You know, I served in the U.S. Army, and before we were trained in the different weapons that we were to use during battle, we had to first receive protective gear and learn how to properly put them on and the purpose of each one. Right. So I received a helmet, I received a flak vest, I received a belt to carry like my canteen and some extra magazines. And I also carried, I had a pair of combat boots. And of course, I had my weapon. Right. Now that we talked a little about what a soldier's protective gear or armor would look like today, let's take a look at what Paul says about the full armor available to those who are in Mashiach. Right? So let's take another look at Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18, right? And so verse 10, it says, finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah and in the power of his might, right? That's in the power of his might, the power of his word, right? Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12 states, for the word of Elohim is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and ruach, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Verse 11 says, put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Here we see that we must put on the whole armor of Yah, not some pieces, but all of them, right? To stand against means that, implies that if you don't have on the full armor, you leave yourself open to the enemy. Right? When we look at verse 12, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And so, as a soldier ready for battle, you have to first identify who your enemy is, right? And so, since our warfare is not against flesh and blood, who is it against? Here we see it's against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. These are our enemies. Verse 13 says, wherefore take unto you, that means put it on. Wherefore take unto you, wherefore put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand, right? So what does it mean to withstand? It means to set oneself against, to resist, to oppose, to remain undamaged or unaffected by, to resist, to hold out against, to stand firm against, to hold the line against, right? To confront, to weather, right? To live through, to ride it out, to endure, right? Suffer something painful or difficult, to tolerate, to bear, to put up with, to go the distance against, right? So what does it mean to stand? It means to put on, it means to put, to place, to set, to make firm, to fix. It means to establish. It means not bending, not folding, standing immovable, to have or maintain an upright position. So we stand, right? Which means we don't bend, we don't bow, we establish ourselves, we set ourselves in place, we stand firm on the rock. Yahusha HaMashiach is our rock. We stand firm on our rock, which is our solid foundation. Hallelujah. And so, what is meant by the evil day, right? The evil is toilsome, painful, full of labors, annoyances, hardships, pressed and harassed by labors, bringing toils of a time full of peril to those who hold to their faith and remain steadfast, causing trouble, right? Day is of the last day of this present age, the day Yahusha HaMashiach will return from heaven, raise the dead, hold the final judgment, and perfect his kingdom, right? And so the evil day is what we're living in now, right? We're living in the evil day. We're living in days that are toilsome, days that are painful, days that are full of labors, days that are full of annoyances and hardships, days that are pressed and harassed by labors, right? Bringing toils, times that are full of pearls to those who hold to the faith and remain steadfast, right? That we are living in the evil day. That is today. And so verse 14 says, stand, this be unmovable, Stand therefore for this reason, be unmovable for this reason, having your loins or having your waist girt, which means secured or fastened about with truth, and having on the breastplate. The breastplate really protects your vital organs, right? And it keeps you safe, right? It protects those vital organs that keep you alive, right? Having on the breastplate of righteousness, right? When living according to the fruit of the Ruach, that you're walking according to righteousness. You're walking according to the word of Yah, right? So be unmovable for this reason, having your waist secured or fastened with the truth, right? Yahusha HaMashiach is the truth. The word of Yah is truth, right? And having on the breastplate, which protects you, which keeps you alive, right? The breastplate of righteousness. Righteousness is equal to life, right? Just as sin is equal to death, righteousness equals life. To live in righteousness means you have life, right? And so the breastplate of righteousness is what protects you and holds you up, that you may walk in rightness, right? And that you will obtain life when you do this, right? When you live according to the fruit of the Ruach, right? When we look at verse 15, it states, and your feet shod, which is your shoes, right? For the shoes that you have with the preparation, the act of preparing, being prepared, being ready, right? With the readiness of the gospel, the good news, the Besorah of peace, right? Which means tranquility, exempt from rage and havoc or of war, security, safety, prosperity, right? So have on for shoes preparation, be prepared to share the good news, to share the gospel, right? In of peace, right? Without rage, without war. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15 tells us to study to show ourselves approved unto Elohim, a workman that needs not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Remember, Yahusha is the truth, and Yahusha is the word of Yah. When there's a major storm announced, people usually start preparing for the storm by purchasing household items and food to sustain themselves throughout the storm. And likewise, when we're preparing for battle spiritually, we too must put things in place to help us to withstand and stand while on the battlefield. So when we take a look at 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 21 and 22, not only does it tell us to study to show ourselves approved unto Elohim, but it also tells us of the works of darkness that we must avoid. And these works of darkness can also be found in Galatians chapter 5, verse 19, and Ephesians chapter 5, verses 3 through 5, as the works of the flesh, right? So let's take a look again at 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 and 2. It reminds us that in the last days, perilous times will come, right? So what is these perilous times? They're hard times, troublesome times, dangerous times, right? For men will be, so what makes these times perilous? What makes these times hard? What makes these times so troublesome? Right? Verse 2 says, for men will be lovers of their own selves. They will be covetous. They will want other things that other people have. They will want it for themselves. They will be boasters, proud, blasphemers. They'll be disobedient to parents, unthankful people. They will be people that don't have a natural affection. There'll be truce breakers. There'll be false accusers, right? There'll be fears, despisers of those that seek to do good, right? There'll be high-minded type of people, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Elohim, right? And this verse also tells us, from such turn away. So instead of focusing on those things, we should instead focus on these things, right? Instead, we should focus on this, turning from the works of darkness, right? Not even participating, right? Don't even take that into consideration, those evil and wicked works, right? We have to study to show ourselves approved unto Elohim. right? We're living our lives according to the fruit of the Ruach, right? Not according to the darkness and the works of the flesh, right? We're putting on Yahusha, who is the Son of the living Elohim and the Word of Yah, right? Not bending, but standing firm in our beliefs and the hope of our salvation. And this is how we prepare for our spiritual battles. Okay, so Ephesians chapter 6, verse 16 states, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Psalms 28, verse 7 states, Yahuwah is my strength and my shield. Genesis 15:1 states, after these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, fear not, Abraham, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 29 states, happy are you, O Yashar'el, who is like unto you, O people saved by Yahuwah, the shield of your help. Yahuwah is the shield of our help, and who is the sword of your excellency, right? 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 3 states, the Elohai of my rock. Yahusha HaMashiach is the rock of Yashar'el, right? So it states, oh, the Elohai of my rock, in him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation. This is talking about Yahusha HaMashiach. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, it tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so let's talk about what is faith. I did a study on faith not too long ago, and through that study, I began to see that faith is what I stand on, which is the word of Yah, believing for the things that I expect to happen, while Elohim reveals or makes known to me the things that I cannot see. So, in other words, when I hear the Most High's word, regardless of what I see, and I begin to say what he says about the things that I expect or want to happen, it's then that the Most High begins to make known to me the things that I cannot see. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 17 states, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Elohim, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Ruach, and watching to be sleepless. To watch means to be sleepless, to keep awake, to keep watch, to be attentive, to be ready, right? So praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Ruach, and staying awake, being watchful, thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all Kodeshim. Kodeshim is the saints, those who have been set apart for the Most High's glory. Now, therefore, hold fast in your heart, in your mind. Therefore, hold fast in your mind, right? Keep it at the forefront of your mind. Everything that the Most High has commanded you, and seal it, that is, fasten it with a seal to prevent tampering, or close it to make it secure. Don't lose it. Keep hold of it in the recess of your mind. Let it sink in, right? And so this is what we are to do with the word of the Most High. When we do that, we can rest assured that we are fully covered by the word of Yah. So, in closing, family, I want us to remember Romans chapter 13, verses 12 through 14. And it states, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Adonai Yahusha HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill its lust. And so, family, Yahusha HaMashiach is the Son of the living Elohim, and he is our full armor of Yah. He is the one that covers us and keeps us right in the evil day. And so I pray that this message was a blessing to you. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you can be notified when new videos are posted, and also clicking that like button. Share this information, this video with someone that you believe that it will bless them. All right, family. And so I love you guys, and I will see you next time.